You're welcome to Prep Station Biology UTME 2025. I want you to sit down, calm down as we explore some of the topics that are recommended for this year's JAMB. So stay with me as we look at the recommended topics. Now, we have living organisms, we have internal structures of plants and animals, we have nutrition, we have transport, that's transport system or circulatory system as you may call it. We have respiration or respiratory system, we have excretion, we have support and movement, we have reproduction, we have growth, we have coordination and control, that's nervous system. We have factors affecting the distribution of organisms. We have symbiotic interactions of plants and animals. We have natural habitats, the local biomes that we have in Nigeria. We have the ecology of populations, soil, humans, and environment. We have variation in population. We have heredity and evolution. Now, I want to refer you to some of the videos that we have done like last year, because some of these topics have been treated already. So like topics like variation in population, heredity, those have been treated last year. Evolution has been treated too. Then living organisms is quite very simple. It is easy. So I may not be able to touch on that and some of them here, but you can go back to the videos that we have and watch some of the topics here. So let's move on. So our first topic that we'll be looking at is respiration. Now, what is respiration? Respiration is an enzymatic process. What do I mean by that? It is a process that requires the activities of enzymes. Let's look at what is here. Now, it's a process that cells use to produce energy in the form of adenosine triphosphate. Now, stay with me. Now, I said it is a process that cells use. Please don't confuse respiration for breathing, because most students, when they ask them to explain respiration, they just say respiration is breathing in of oxygen and sending out carbon dioxide. No, that is not. Now, respiration is actually a process by which glucose from the food that you have eaten is being broken down. And why? So that the energy inside the glucose can be released. What you need, or why you respire, while you carry out that process of respiration, is for you to be energized, so that the energy in the nutrients, the energy in the glucose can be released for you. Okay, now, I said the energy in the form of ATP. Now, ATP is a chemical energy source that cells need to grow, that cells need to reproduce, to survive, and to function. Now, I would believe you agree with me that everything that you do, we call all of them metabolic activities. You eating, breathing, drinking, walking, sleeping, thinking, digesting, those are metabolic activities. And whether you like it or not, we function like automobiles. Now, you are definitely burning fuel. So in this case now, what is supporting all those activities, what enables you to be able to carry out those activities is energy. It's energy. And where do you get the energy from? It is gotten from the food that you eat. It is gotten from the process of respiration. So ATP is actually the energy. ATP means adenosine triphosphate. Let me just put it like this. Let's say this is adenosine, or let me use A. Let's say this is adenosine now. Triphosphate means it has 3 phosphate group attached to it. It has 3 phosphate group attached, so it can be A3P. So this is energy. Now, the point is, when the energy is consumed, the phosphate group here is reduced. So it will be reduced to ADP, which is adenosine diphosphate. ADP. We may not be able to go into that detail now, but I want you to stay with me. Let's move on. Now, carbon dioxide and water are released as byproducts during respiration. Now, let's look at it. Let's try to write the chemical equation of respiration. Remember, I told you that glucose is broken down. So what is the chemical formula for glucose? That is C6. Come in, please. Okay, your glucose is C6H12, right? Now, most times, if your glucose is going to be broken down, you need an activator. So in this case, let's take for instance, if the activator here is oxygen. So what do you get? You're going to have carbon dioxide. Now let's read through this statement. It said carbon dioxide and water are released as byproducts. So you have carbon dioxide plus water. Now stay with me, plus ATP. Now this ATP is energy. Is that clear? That is the major product that you need. Okay, now please look at me and look at this place. This equation is not balanced, so you need to balance it. Okay, carbon here is 6, carbon here is 1. So if I put 6 here, it balances the carbon here. Yeah, then the hydrogen here is 12. Hydrogen here is just 2. So what do we do? You can't reduce it, but you can add to this. So what do? You cannot put 1 here. H12O is no longer water, but you can put 6 here. That means 6 molecules of water. So the hydrogen will be 12, hydrogen will be 12. That is correct. Then for oxygen, we have 6 oxygen here and we have 2 here, making 8. How many do we have here? We have, this one is 2 times this 6, that is 12, plus here, this is oxygen plus, multiply by this 6, that would be 18. So what do? If we have 18 here and this place is just 8, what do? If I put 6 here, this place becomes 12 and this place is 6. 12 plus 6 is also 18. So that balances it. That balances it. Now stay with me. We have 2 types of respiration. We have the aerobic and the anaerobic. But let's continue. I hope we'll get there. We'll talk about that much later. So what are the functions of respiration? Now, your cells break down glucose through a series of chemical reactions. Now, at the beginning, if you have been following me, I said respiration is an enzymatic process. So when glucose is broken down, then you have, now let's say this is your glucose here, right? It will be broken down. Now, the ultimate product here first is pyruvic acid. Now, your pyruvic acid will still undergo some kind of chemical reactions. We have pyruvate oxidation, we have the Krebs cycle, and we have the electron transport chain before you have the energy that you have complete. Now, please stay with me. When glucose is broken down to give you pyruvic acid, it will also release energy, but it will not completely release all the energy. It's just fuel. But where I'm going to is this. If you look at this is a pathway. There are plenty of enzymes involved in this process. There are plenty. Is that clear now? So I said the cell breaks down glucose to a series of chemical reactions. Those reactions are like 4. They are like 4. We have the glycolysis, we have the pyruvate oxidation, we have the Krebs cycle, and the electron transport chain. Now, the next function of respiration. The process produces ATP. It produces carbon dioxide and water. So it would help you to produce adenosine triphosphate, carbon dioxide, and water. There was the third one. The ATP produced is used to power many reactions in the body. It is used to power many reactions. Like I said earlier, all the activities in your body, they all require energy, which of course is the ATP that you get from respiration. Now, look at the types of respiration here. We have the aerobic and the anaerobic. Now, if you are preparing for JAMB, I am so sure right now that aerobic respiration and anaerobic should not be new to you. Of course, aerobic releases what? Aerobic occur in the presence of oxygen, while anaerobic occur in the absence of oxygen. Now look at it here. Aerobic respiration utilizes oxygen to break down glucose. So what am I saying? When you have your glucose here, then there will be oxygen. So it is the presence of this oxygen that makes it aerobic. Okay, there. It's the presence of this oxygen that makes it aerobic. And it occurs in the mitochondria. Now, I hope you know that mitochondria has a nickname. And what is the nickname? The nickname is the powerhouse. Why? Because it is in the mitochondria that the largest amount of ATP is produced. Now, let's go back to what I said earlier. When you have glycolysis, all of these are the different steps or stages in respiration. We have pyruvate oxidation. We have the Krebs cycle. and electron transport chain, ETC, electron transport chain. Now, listen to me. This one here, only this one occur in the cytoplasm. These remaining three occur in the mitochondria. So you can see why mitochondria is regarded as the powerhouse of the cell. This guy occur in the cytoplasm. Now, I don't know, Jam may decide to go into detail. There's a region in cytoplasm, a specific place where glycolysis is taking place. That place is known as the cytosol. It is known as the cytosol. The cytosol is in the cytoplasm. But if this one is not among the option, you can pick cytoplasm. But if this is there, please, if they put cytoplasm and cytosol, cytosol is a more specific region in the cytoplasm. So you should go for it. So the rest, pyruvate oxidation, Krebs cycle, etc., they all occur in the mitochondria. Okay, let's move on. The energy produced is stored as ATP. The first stage of aerobic respiration takes place in cytoplasm, like I said earlier. Now, a more definite place or more specific region is cytosol, and it's referred to as glycolysis. Now, what exactly is glycolysis? Let's try to look at it. Glycolysis, it is from two words, glucose and lyse. Glucose and lyse. What does that mean? When you lyse something, it's like when you put sugar on hot custard. What happened to the sugar? It becomes watery, right? The sugar loses its structure because of the temperature. It loses its structure. It goes like it becomes watery. So this is the glucose too becoming like that. Exactly. This is glucose becoming like that. Now, glycolysis is a series of reactions where glucose is incompletely broken down, right, to pyruvic acid in the cytoplasm. Now, this is aerobic, and I'm talking about glycolysis now. I said it is what? Incomplete. The glucose is incompletely broken down into pyruvic acid in the cytoplasm. Okay, so can we move on? Now, anaerobic respiration. Okay, the next one is anaerobic respiration. Now, this is a method that cells use to generate energy in the absence of oxygen. What am I talking about? Now, when you have this glucose, you have the glucose to be broken down, but you do not have enough oxygen. You can ask me, how can a person not have enough oxygen? It is possible. Let's take, for instance, if you are doing strenuous exercise, you are running, the amount of oxygen that goes into your body cannot be increased. It is normal. It is normal. But the problem is, you as a person, you're burning energy at a faster rate. Let's look at it. If you are spending money more than you are making money, there will be a time you will start lacking it, because you are not making money as much as you are spending it. There's supposed to be a balance. The rate at which I spend must be equal to the rate at which I make. So now, in the case of anaerobic, if you are burning energy faster and you are not getting enough glucose, you're not getting enough oxygen, you're not getting oxygen at the same level that you are burning it, there will be a problem. Why do we need oxygen? It is oxygen that will help you to break down glucose in aerobic respiration. But in a time when you do not have enough oxygen, your body is okay. What will it do? It will switch to anaerobic respiration. So when your body switches to anaerobic respiration, it will start to break down glucose, but it will not completely break it down. It will only break down glucose to lactic acid. It will break it down to lactic acid, which of course is not good for the body. Is it clear? Which of course is not good. Let's move on. Now, I said in a low or zero oxygen environment, cells can use glycolysis to provide for their energy needs. Remember, glycolysis occurs in the cytoplasm, and most of the time it doesn't yield all the energy that is in the glucose, because the glucose is not completely broken down. Now, however, glycolysis also requires NAD+ to proceed. So cells must be able to generate enough NAD+ to allow glycolysis to occur. What do I mean by NAD+? NAD+ means nicotinamide adenosine. Okay, guys, we'll pause here now, then we can continue later when we come back. Thank you.